Miller, good to have you back, buddy.
Good to be back.
It's awesome. We are here today at our office for MV2. We're going to introduce you to the team. We're going to talk about real estate development. We're going to talk about our first project and then go visit it in downtown Mooresville. What else are we going to do? Today we're going to talk about car show, and that's going to be the second video, so stay tuned for that. We're going to ride in two of our cars to the property. What else are we doing?
I think you covered it.
Pretty much sums it up. Cool.
Yeah,
so
good.
I'm gonna let you guys know who I am. You've been following me. I'm gonna pass you off to Mark, Amy, and my mother, Leanne, and they're gonna tell you a little bit about themselves, and then we're gonna talk about what we do, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned.
I'm Mark Halteman, Leanne and MV2. About 5 years ago, I was exiled to Turks and Caicos by these guys, and they let me come back every so often. So what we decided to do was start up MV2 International, and we were going to start developing more projects in Turks and Caicos as a team. Formerly a chiropractor, and in 2007 started getting more and more into real estate and realized it was time to retire from chiropractic and just enjoy the real estate lifestyle, and started developing in Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and North Carolina. And about 6 years ago, met Vinny, and we started MV2 with our first project, which we'll be going to shortly. Then Leanne came on the team, and we started growing from there.
By the way, guys, we started this company on a napkin, and we're currently sitting in our office in our most recent build, 140,000 square foot building. Literally, we sat at Primal Brewery. Right. That was the first time we met in person. We were at a high top table in the back, and we kind of wrote out, we didn't even have a name yet.
No.
And the reason for our name is because M is Mark and V is Vinny and 2 is all the extra work that those two do. I'm just kidding. Actually, it's funny because they weren't actually part of it originally, so it kind of worked out nice. But we did this MV2 because we saw other companies that had a couple letters and a number and thought it was cool. That's literally how MV2 came about. So, Amy, that's your joke. I stole your joke. I apologize. So, Amy, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Hey everyone, good to see you guys again. Amy, so I oversee operations and design here at MV2. And really, I mean, my responsibility is just to kind of gatekeep the projects, make sure they're moving forward, and make sure everything's just considering our design and the experience we're trying to achieve in our properties, from both a tenant perspective, from a commercial tenant perspective. And I mean, that's really it. I mean, it seems like small, but
babysitting,
us, you know, yeah.
But
yeah.
you really
That's
did.
a full-time
You really
job.
did when you came on years and years ago. You brought our quality of projects to the next level. Like you're the reason for, in my opinion, the success of Mill One and what it is today.
She brings the detail.
Oh man, you don't want to see my details.
And the funny story is, it's like the company can be defined about how our office has evolved, right? So, you know, from the back of a napkin sketch at Primal, right, to we should probably get an office space, and it's gonna be, you know, 20 feet by, or no, it's gonna be 200 square feet, and you and I are gonna sit next to each other in this tiny little co-working space, right?
Yep.
And then, oh, you know what, we have an apartment building, we should move into the apartment building, right? So we move into one of the 2-bedroom apartments there, and I was pregnant at the time, so they probably thought that was really weird, like. And then we took over the model unit there, so we moved from the 2-bedroom to another 2-bedroom.
We did.
And then now we've officially arrived with our own office, which we're now moving again. So I feel
we
like
thought this would be the last resting place for us, but we need more space now.
It kind of defines how we're changing, right? And it speaks to our story of, you know, not operating above your means. And we didn't need a fancy office, right? And now our story is talking about Mill One and talking about our properties. And so to bring investors in to see our office and it all emulates that experience. And so it's interesting that really our office evolution has really been kind of part of that story.
I've never even made that connection.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to think about for you guys because, you know, everyone sees the cars and the success that we all portray with everything we do in these big buildings, but we weren't any different than you not too many years ago. Mm-hmm. We just made smart moves. We did what we said we were gonna do. We made the right connections, met the right people, and part of it's luck too, and timing, honestly. And then, you know, we just continue to grow. We actually don't know, we've never operated in this next space we're about to go to in our business. So this is also new territory for us. And you just learn as you go. None of this happens overnight, so you have time to figure it out over time, right? I think a lot of people get turned off to starting because they think they have to be at our level day one.
And we're always studying new mentors.
Yeah.
All the
People
time.
that are above our level, we're
Exactly
always
right.
studying what they're doing, trying
Yep.
to keep up with them
Yep.
and kind of continually grow.
And most of our ideas happen at 3 in the morning, middle of the night. We all wake up, we're like, guys, I thought of this.
Then we have to remember it for the next morning.
How many emails have we sent at like 3 in the morning? You're like, woke up in the middle of the night. I figured
That's
we
right.
figured out the problem. So, anyway, Mom, take it away on your.
Well, hi, I'm Leanne. I'm obviously Vinny's mom. He always introduces me like that, which is really nice. I'm a transplant from California. Had 3 boys, raised them out in California, and now I ended up in North Carolina. Real interesting as I'm listening to you guys talk about kind of the steps. I never planned on being involved in real estate, but I had a husband who was involved in real estate. So I ended up having to get involved in his mortgage company. So I did that for like 12 years. That was kind of an organic thing. It wasn't anything I ever planned on. And so this too was very organic. Didn't plan on this. Vinny wasn't quite ready to hire employees right away, which speaks to the conservative nature of how you guys are. You don't jump ahead real fast. You try and make sure that they're ready for things. When he said, hey, why don't you come on board? And I was like, really? I think I'd like to do that. That sounds really fun. And he had started the development already, and I loved what they were doing. I loved their vision. We started out at North Main Village. So what I ended up doing is being on the leasing team. So it was in the middle of COVID, we were opening this building. And so we had to be a little creative about how we could continue leasing up in a down market, right? So we opened the office. Nobody could come in. We were doing it very differently, but it really worked. So in a few months, we were totally leased up. Yeah, totally leased up. Started at the end of May, and by the end of August, we were totally leased up. And so I really like that part. So kind of what's happening with me is I support the team administratively and anything, that they need me to do. Even cook, I'll leave a cook for them.
We are so all fed. It's not even funny. My trainer's getting upset.
And her nickname is the mother of Mooresville.
Mother Moore. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a little nickname from the mayor. Yeah, that was so sweet. Yeah, he just sees me everywhere, and he knows I'm Vinny's mom, so it kind of tagged me as that. But what I really like to do is the tours, because I get to talk about the buildings all day long. So that's really fun. So when we, when we can see that the project's going to be ready, so a few months before that, we start pre-leasing. So in Mill 1, we were 100% leased up by the time the building opened. So that's something that I really like to do. It gives me an opportunity to meet the people coming in, and then also maybe get some investors, interested in our projects, which is a great opportunity for them.
So I want to broaden on what she said. So my mom also doesn't give herself enough credit because she's like the face of our company and has become that in the community. So like all the business owners, I go in there now and they're like, hey, are you Leanne's son? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me, because I mean, to be honest, a lot of times I don't have time to go make the connection. So really my mom has such huge value in our company that I don't even think she's realized, and I tell her that all the time. I don't think she really understands fully even how valuable that is, because we are, we're building all this stuff as legacy product, not only for ourselves, but for the town of Mooresville. We're trying to do it right by the residents. We're trying to create an experience and destination. So when a lot of developers, let me back up, a lot of developers have a bad name, honestly, because they come in, they railroad a project, they don't care what goes in the area, then they sell it, they take the money and they run. And we're like the total opposite of that. We've like taken downtown Mooresville as like our child, and we're trying to do it in line with what not only the town wants, but what the citizens want. And those connections you're making are kind of that community that we are a part of. We don't consider ours like the big developer. We consider us like, hey, I'm going to be at the restaurant sitting next to you. It is cool that this is our project, and we're very proud of it, but it's not from a place of ego. So I just thought
we're a small business like they're a small business. And I
Right,
think that's,
exactly.
and Leanne, and just to speak to Leanne too, is, I mean, this is a grassroots effort too, what we're doing. And so with her being out there in the community, that's also just taking a grassroots approach to telling our story and getting people to understand what development means and how that happens, and doing it with purpose and all those things. So I think what she does is so invaluable, just to
Absolutely.
kind of spread that grassroots story and talk about it.
So now we need some volunteers from you, because we need you to go down to Turks and Caicos for MV2 International and become that community partner. So, oh wait, did we not talk about that? I'm just kidding. So actually, here's the cool part, and this is where this is all going, and this is why we want to introduce you to us today. We want you to get to know us as we go on this journey. We want you to follow along our projects. We want you to learn what we do. I don't think there's a lot of developers that do this. There's a lot of real estate people that flip homes and stuff, but I don't think there's really developers that do commercial development that have a platform like this. So we want to take you along the journey. We want to teach you about what it is, teach you about the process, how long it takes to get a freaking project out of the ground. Jeez Louise. So you're going to learn all this stuff, and we're really excited to take you on this journey. And then, hey, if you end up in the Turks and with some of our projects, so be it.
You're gonna get some amazing views.
Oh, yeah.
Turks.
In fact, in a few months, we're going to fly down there, and we're going to take Miller, and we're going to do, we've bought a bunch of property down there, and Mark already did a project in the Turks right on the water, so there's going to be some cool stuff coming your way. So for now, let's load up, let's go to North Main. Let's show you one of our deals. All right, so we're here at North Main Village. This was our first project in downtown Mooresville, and quick before Mark tells you about a funny story, the town was trying to get someone to build on this side for decades. I mean, literally, this was the first large development that happened, and I think one of the commissioners said 40 years she was trying to get someone to do something over here. And when we bought this land initially, this was a very different area. There was a lot of crime and whatnot. We put this building up, the businesses around us started improving, and then that's when we started making our way to downtown. I mean, now it's like brand new roads, lots of new buildings have been up between here and there. All the houses down the street are gorgeous. They've all been renovated. We just sold this property, so it's kind of like, it's kind of bittersweet. We're standing here.
And it's really a throwback because, like, what, 4 years ago, when we opened, we had a little groundbreaking here.
Right here.
We're basically standing in this spot here, and there was nothing around us except for a couple big machines.
Yeah.
And a couple shovels getting ready for the groundbreaking.
We're gonna cut to some pictures of that right now. Check these out.
Yep. So what ended up happening though is we wanted to try to sort of brand ourselves a little bit. So we were trying to figure out, okay, we had a logo, let's come up with some shirts. So
let's make them stand out.
Yeah, we're gonna stand out a little bit. So girlfriend at the time said, hey, I got some great colors here, and ended up being this fuchsia, bright fuchsia
We
color.
kicked around green, blue, all this stuff, and
yeah,
pink it was.
and it ended up, so we got these shirts in, and they just exploded. They were so bright, and we ended up wearing them, and we ended up getting branded as the guys in the pink shirt. Everybody knew us. So tell me some stories about what happened down
Oh my
there.
gosh, so number one, front page of the paper right after we announced this groundbreaking, right? It's like the start of rebuilding of downtown. It's like the mayor, you know, everyone's kind of on this side, looks normal and great, and then there's these two idiots in pink t-shirts on the left side in the picture. I'm gonna show you a picture of that right now too. So we would go to town hall meetings when we started buying up more property. We're like, we're gonna go all in downtown Mooresville. We had to rezone, and we'll talk about rezoning later so you can understand what that is, but we basically had to get in front of the entire commission, right? All the town commissioners and the mayor and the public comms, and so we're pleading to rezone these properties so we can build these larger projects. And when you step up to the mic initially, you got to say your name, your address, all this stuff, right? So I'm wearing my pink shirt. Mark's in the Turks. I'm wearing my pink shirt, and I walk up to the podium like, hey, I'm one of the guys in the pink shirts, and it's just laughter right throughout.
Well, everybody knew it.
Everybody knew who we were. So it also kind of goes to show how important like branding yourself is. I'm not a marketing expert, neither is Mark, I don't think, but what a great idea, because it really put us on the map. And then we just kept transitioning into these bigger and better projects.
Once we got on the map, though, we did have to calm down, so we got black shirts with the pink logo.
It's good to definitely create something for yourself that makes you stand out, get noticed. I think positive attention is better. I know in today's age, a lot of people do negative stuff and they get noticed, but you know, just literally just an empty site. We kept a very large area in the back, about 5 acres back there, for a giant dog park and a pond and all sorts of cool stuff for the residents. So we're not a big fan of tearing down trees as developers. We like to maintain what's already there. So we really tried to preserve a lot of what was already on this site. Right. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys, on our North Main tour today. Learn a little bit about us. We're gonna go now in the next video. Stay tuned. A couple days, we're gonna teach you how to throw a car show. Our next project on Main Street, which you've seen before, is South Main. We're delivering that in July. We're gonna throw a big car show to celebrate. So yeah, this will be our second car show we've thrown, and it's kind of like development. It's quite the ordeal. So
It's gonna be a big one.
let's go chat. See you next time.